you go outside and you look up at the sky, wondering what the day's weather is going to be like, what do you see? Do you see big billowy clouds or long formations of clouds that stretch from horizon to horizon, often crisscrossing each other? And when you see these manufactured clouds, do you ever wonder what they are, what they're for, where they're coming from? These clouds are a part of geoengineering, or in some circles they're referred to as chemtrailing. Cloud seeding, weather modification, are just some of the government and scientists' ways of trying to curb global warming for the planet. Carbon dioxide levels, carbon footprints are the main discussions among scientists and governments around the world, and the effects that they're having on our ecological systems, our plant and animal life, and the sustainability for life on this planet. Many plans and thoughts have been proposed, but have the adverse effects of such implementations been seriously looked at in comparison to the positive outcome that they may have? One way science and the government have come together to try and cool the planet and reverse the warming effect that has been the center of controversy and concern over the last couple decades is atmospheric spraying. In an effort to cool the planet, geoengineers and scientists have come up with an aerosol spray containing many heavy metals and other ingredients to reflect the sun's rays back into space, back to the sun, in hopes to cool the planet. In some studies, it has shown that this layer that they're spraying in our atmosphere is having a negative effect to where it is creating a blanket around the globe, and where the Earth has already absorbed some heat and warmth from the sun, it is not allowing that to escape in the atmosphere as it is holding it in, much like a cloud cover would on a normal day. Eventually, what goes up must come down. The elements and heavy metals that are being used to facilitate this reflection of the sun's UV rays fall back down onto the planet. And where do they go? They go everywhere. They fall into the rivers, the streams, the lakes, the ocean. They fall on us, the plants, the soil, everything. Should we be concerned? Is this healthy? What is being used in these aerosols that is being sprayed, and how does it affect humans and our environment? Let's discuss the ingredients first. There are many. Here is a list of approximately 18 or so that have been listed and been tested for. I'd also like to note that the levels in the main metals that have gone completely off the chart in many areas tested where the normal acceptable rate of the parts per billion have exceeded the limits of acceptable rates by the thousands. Incredible numbers show high abnormal rise in the soils and waters of both the fresh and sea waters, as well as soil tests and others. Well, so what are the main ingredients of these aerosol sprays? Aluminum, arsenic, barium salts, cadmium, desiccated human body cells, ethylene dibromide, lead, magnesium mercury mold spores, mycoplasma, polymer fibers, radiocesium, sharp titanium shards, strontium, submicron particles, unidentified living bacteria, uranium, and many others. What are the pros and cons of using this as a way to reflect heat away from the Earth? Well, the pros of this program, thought by some scientists involved, would be that continued spraying of these nanoparticles could offset the warming of the planet. Another pro is that this is affordable, and I'll get back to that later. It's an affordable and feasible way to curb global warming. And it also says that volcanic eruptions cool the planet in much the same way, so we know that this works. Cons: it would reduce rainfall, which in turn would cause droughts, and droughts cause famine. This is a trickle-down effect. It would not cool the poles as it would the tropics, meaning that we'd have to further cool the poles to maintain the ice sheets. The ice sheets should already be doing this, as they are white and already reflecting the sun's rays as it is. It would not stop ocean acidification. What happens when the pH levels of the ocean go up Many of the crustaceans and small animals and microorganisms that live on the bottom of the ocean, it ends up killing them. In turn, that kills other fish that live off that and kill bigger fish that live off those fish, again having a trickle-down effect. It would make the sky whiter, and these harmful pollutants would fall back down to the earth. Because the list is so long of the ingredients, I'm just going to discuss a few. Aluminum, the health human effects are damage to the central nervous system, dementia, loss of memory, listlessness, severe trembling, much like a Parkinson's disease. The uptake can occur in humans by breathing, by food consumption, and skin contact. Long-lasting intakes of significant concentrations can lead to the above listed effects. To the environment, aluminum accumulates in plants through root uptake, as well as topical exposure. It damages roots and kills the plants. Animals, both land and the water, can take in the smell into their bodies through consumption, and it can accumulate in them. It can also be breathed in as well. Fish and other animals are dying, and their numbers are declining due to the high amount of aluminum found in the environment. If the food source for animals is contaminated, the people are getting a double dose. Moving on to barium. Barium reacts with most nonmetals and forms poisonous compounds. So the human health concerns would be that barium compounds dissolve in water and can cause paralysis and death in some cases. Small amounts can make it hard to breathe, increase blood pressure, heart rhythm changes, changes in your nerve reflexes, swelling of the brain and liver and kidney, and heart damage. The environmental effects are barium compounds are highly water soluble. Fish and other organisms can take them in and store them and accumulate these compounds. Hence, again, disrupting the food chain, killing off the food chain, contaminating our food chain. And it can also accumulate in the soil, which then can be, again, taken up by the plants that we eat. Arsenic, human effects. Stomach and intestinal irritation. Cancer, cancer of the skin, the lungs, and the lymphatic system. DNA damage and nerve injury. The environmental effects are as follows, where the plants absorb arsenic very easily, so again, your food gets contaminated. The alteration of genetic materials in fish. Again, starting at the bottom of the food chain, you contaminate one, you contaminate them all, depending on who's eating who. This was only to name a few. With this knowledge, we would wonder if such a program is worth continuing when it's contaminating everything in our ecosystems as well as human beings. For a long time, this information was kept secret. When talks of geoengineering came up, many people still believe that this isn't happening, that the government would never do this, that scientists would never do this, because obviously with this list of ingredients, we know that it's contaminating the planet. The fact is, it's happening all over the world. Whether or not it's a good thing is an individual decision you have to make upon further research, and I urge you all to do that. Thank you.